throughout the night when I was a radio officer, when people are sleeping, just like the Titanic, you know, because you can hear some little comment that when the Titanic was calling some other station, nearby stations, some of the stations were already shut down because there was no very much radio station that goes for 24 hours. But now it goes for 24 hours so that you can catch hold of the nearest station.
You say you are a telecommunications watchdog, meaning that you have radio gear and you can listen to what is going on in the waves.
Yeah, you only listen from the marine band. You only need a VHF
Radio
from the marine band, apart from your radio amateur, the other frequencies. You only need those equipment to listen at them.
So if I wanted to listen to somebody I think is poaching on the water, all I need to have is a radio
It's
set
a marine radio, that's all.
A marine radio.
The GP had that. I don't know, it was very active, but I don't even hear them now. I don't know whether it's still there, but they used to be very active with that marine radio. Very, very active. Because at one time, I was a very long.
It's not even favoring us, but this is the interview, and my guest is Alhaji Bekai Malik Sose, a 78-year-old, retired as Senior Superintendent Telecommunication Engineering. I wish we had enough time, but let me just ask you one question before I shift very quickly to your other skill as a writer. What is the future of telecommunications in the country?
Well, the future of telecommunication in the country is still bright, depending on improvement on the system. Because I understand this fiber optic is coming in.
And the digital will move into a digital...
But that does not save us from our mobile station, because our mobile station goes to the remotest areas which the fiber optic did not reach. So that means to say they have to improve their system properly, because they are fed by repeaters, boosters and all that, antennas here and there, so you can hear some people, we are not hearing Gamtel. It's because they must have an antenna on that area, you see. So these things are feeding on other different factors of communication. It different from the digital system, whereby you feed to the fiber optic or any other thing, and then the communication is superb. It's a different factor. So there must be improvement in the system, in all systems in the Gambia. Let the technician work very hard, revisit their antennas constantly. Although it takes only 10 years. If you replace your conductor properly done, it takes another 10 years before it is being ruined. Yes.
Let me turn now. I wish we have enough time to look at your writing, the other side of Alhaji Bekai Sose, which is your skill at writing. I have here with me 5 copies of books that you have written yourself. You wrote your own autobiography. You wrote a professional career guide in engineering. You wrote the story of Manding, Madu, Ndey, and Senegambia. You wrote the Gambia Travel and Tourist Attraction and Islamic Literature. You're a man of practical substance, but here again, you've got a literary, some sort of literary genius in you. What got you into writing as well?
Oh, you see, it was a long time when I started writing my autobiography in 1962, when I was first posted in the province. Despite my 10 years of operation on board the ship in the River Gambia, I was posted as a technical officer in the province in 1962, and I was manning the whole provincial network from Kerewan to Fatoto. There and then, after work, you find it is very lonesome. So I thought of taking up writing in 1962. I started my autobiography, being geared by Nkrumah and his biography and other writers, you know. So I started my biography, which did not complete until in the very late 90s. And after the biography, I thought of writing another book that was the professional career guide to gather all that I know, you know, so that other people can benefit it and it can be taught in schools so that younger generation can choose careers before they leave school. This was what must have prompted me to write the professional guide. And there you have 12 disciplines. You have aerodynamics, you have telecommunication engineering from its concept, you have navigation, which I was interested while traveling to work firsthand with first officers to learn a little bit of navigation. I worked with mechanical workshop the whole night to have a good experience, and radio surveying, which I have done many a times, which the expatriate from England, we have worked with together in the colonial days. I've worked 12 years in the colonial days before independence, and I've worked throughout President Jawara's period before my retirement in 1991. Thank you.
Let me ask you just this last question. What caused your cataract and your glaucoma?
Oh,
I understand you have an eye problem.
Yeah, because, you know, in this country, before we were so much advanced in eye problem, we used to think that every problem is a cataract. So I was working on a workshop when I had an accident, when I was drilling, and the iron drill bit got into my eye. That's okay. But it took me 20 years after that before my eye started to get dim, and I used to go to the hospital, and they used to prescribe it as cataract, and not knowing that it was glaucoma, because they didn't have then those machines that proves that glaucoma is another eye disease. And by the time they discovered it, is when I went to England and I had an eye operation there, and it was discovered that this was cataract. So there and then I took it from that point with good faith. But nevertheless, it does not stop me from continuing my activities, because it's just one part of my body, you know, that suffers from eye trouble, so that cannot discourage me in life. So I continue to work. Even some of these books were written through radio, through talking on the radio and writing it, getting somebody to write me, and that's how I got struggled to write some of these books.
You recorded what you wanted to put down.
Exactly.
Laji Malik, I want to say congratulations on your work. You are now a retired senior superintendent for telecoms. You've written 5 books, one of them on your professional career. It's been a pleasure to have you on the interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Malik.
And God bless you, sir.
Thank you, Malik. God bless you too. Thank you, Malik.
Pleasure.
I always listen to your interviews.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
That was Alhaji Bekai Malik Sose, 78-year-old and a retired senior superintendent, telecommunications engineering. From me, Malik Jones, bye-bye from the interview.